Good morning, students. This is Arindam Bagh here. As I promised you earlier, that I will upload videos related to my lectures. And as you can see from the topic, today I am going to upload a video on Ode to Nightingale. This is an introduction. Actually, all of you are aware of this fact that we already started this topic. We were in the middle of it, but I want to start it afresh so that if anyone who didn't attend the class, if he or she, if you have any sort of problem, any sort of queries, that can be rectified or that can be answered through this. I don't want to make this video long, so let's proceed, and I hope everyone is fine and healthy and combating coronavirus properly. So let's start. So our topic is Ode to Nightingale. As you can see, it is written by John Keats, and his date of birth and his death is mentioned over there. It's 31st October 1795, 23rd February 1821. So truly speaking, John Keats was actually a person whose birth and whose death actually means he belongs to the, or he is actually truly the true romantic. As you know, that romantic age started officially 1798 with the publication of lyrical ballads, and see, he was born in the year 1795. So let's move to the next slide. So some preliminary idea about this ode to Nightingale. So what does it mean? Ode means what? We all know that ode means, in Greek, obviously it's a Greek word here, it means song. The definition is given over there. The definition is a lyric poem, usually of some length. Yep, that's all. Now there are certain features here. The certain features I've mentioned over here, you can write it down also. The main features are an elaborate stanza structure, a marked formality, stateliness in tone and style, which make it ceremonious, and lofty sentiments and thoughts. These are the qualities of an ode. So you should understand that ode normally deals with a very serious subject, and it's been, the subject matter or the content is glorified. It has some formal lines also, stateliness in tone. In short, an ode is rather a grand poem, a full dress poem. Yep, that is also, it is easy to remember. You know, if I provide you a long definition of it, it will be very difficult for you to remember. Now you should note, you are observing that at the bottom of this slide, To the Nightingale 1796 and The Nightingale, I mentioned about these two poems. See, these titles are very confusing. So to make you aware about this, I mentioned these two titles also, which were actually written by S.T. Coleridge. So don't mix it up. These two things are actually conversational poems. So let's move to the next slide here. And in the next slide, we have some information about the composition. So it was composed early in the May 1819, and it was first published in July 1819 in the Quarterly Annals of the Fine Arts. The surprising fact is, today this particular poem is included most of the universities where English literature is taught, or rather English literature is discussed. But at that time, this poetry was anonymously published in the annals, in the Quarterly Annals of the Fine Arts. So strange, na? So the next point is, Keats wrote this famous poem or famous ode while he was residing at Hampstead, a particular place in England, and he was staying over with one of his friend. His name is Charles Armitage Brown. So he was staying with him, and in the spring of 1819, you can see that May 1819, right now it's March 2020. The weather of March, or rather February or March, it says spring now. You can listen to the songs of cuckoos, isn't it? And in England, the spring is around April to May, because in, if you read Chaucer's Canterbury Tale also, there the month of May or April, it is been mentioned there that it is springtime. So in the spring of 1819, a nightingale built her nest near Brown's house. He was delighted to hear her song, and he was sitting under, and one fine morning under a palm tree, he sat down and he composed the poem. So that was the preliminary information about the about Ode to the Nightingale. And now what you got here in this slide, I have mentioned about 6 great odes. These 6 great odes are, or it is actually described as the great odes of John Keats. And you can see that first it is ode on aggression, then ode on indolence, ode on melancholy, ode to a nightingale, ode to psyche, and to ode to autumn. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the previous slide also, you can check, it is mentioned that published anonymously in Annals of the Fine Arts for 1819. So that's the preliminary idea about this poem. So in my next video, I will deal with the first stanza, and all the annotations will be given to you along with the PPT. You will find that in your WhatsApp group. I will give it to you in your WhatsApp group. You will find, please download it, and you will find the necessary information. Even I am going to upload this PPT also to your WhatsApp group. Thank you again for your kind attention and listening to this, and please do share and subscribe, and stay safe, and follow the guidelines provided by the Government of India. Stay in your place. Have a great day. Thank you.